Okay, so Captain America. We are on to the Captain America movies now, or just the first one. And I'm just gonna flat out say this: the Captain America movies, I think, are. I mean, I don't know if they're my favorite, but I think they are the best Marvel movies. And a lot of people I've spoken to don't like the first one, which I don't understand. I mean, maybe it's a little bit cheesy and it's a little bit like, "Hey, Captain America," but I feel like that's the whole point of it. Like, it's set during World War II, set during a time when there was lots of propaganda, and you were told to be proud of your country, and you were told to be like, American. Where things were a certain way. Things were a certain way in that era, and it's very much of the time. And yeah, I love the whole World War II setting of this. I love that it's set in that World War II era, and it feels very much like an Indiana Jones movie, or like The Rocketeer, or it feels, in fact, it's directed by the same person who did The Rocketeer, Joe Johnston, who I actually think is a very underrated director. I might do a video about him in the future. Or I could just say what I want to say now. Like, he's actually done some pretty good movies. Like, he did Jumanji, the first one with Robin Williams, and he did a film called Hidalgo, which no one really talks about that film. No one talks about it, but I actually think it's really good. Like, it's a bit like Lawrence of Arabia and Dances with Wolves mixed together. And yeah, I think he's underrated. He did Jurassic Park 3, so he's not Spielberg, but he's still pretty good. He's still pretty good. He's very like Steven Spielberg. He's got the same. He gives off the same feeling, and this film does feel like a Spielberg movie, kind of. It's got that Indiana Jones sort of adventure World War II aesthetic, with a little bit of a little bit more sci-fi in there. A little bit more steampunked, I guess you could say. Yeah, steampunked maybe, but it's not steampunked. Either way, I like it, and I like Red Skull, and I like Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, and I think that it's a good story about this young fella who's a bit puny, and he's kind of not really a big hunk muscle man, but he's got a good heart, and he's got a good sort of soul. And yeah, he then gets all these superpowers and goes through this procedure, becomes Captain America. He plays a very brave, very heroic person, and he's very much like Superman. He's very much that kind of good guy. It's a lot harder to play the good guy. It's like in wrestling they have heels and is it heels, and then you got baby faces. So he's kind of like a baby face, I guess. Again, I'm not a big wrestling person, but I know that expression. Like, you've got heels who are kind of like more the villain, and then you've got baby faces who are kind of like the good guys. Superman is a baby face, and Captain America obviously is a baby face. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people don't like Captain America because he's not like Iron Man, who's this snarky kind of sarcastic sort of dickhead, really, like arrogant and narcissistic and all this sort of stuff, and quippy, and he's funny and all this sort of stuff, and like that's more interesting, I suppose. Or if you compare him to like Wolverine, who's like, he's a bit of a dark horse, that sort of thing. He's got claws, and he swears, and he says the F word and stuff. And Captain America is he's a good boy. He doesn't swear. He probably reads the Bible a lot, because he's of the time. He's of that time where you were a Christian, and you were a proud American, and you wanted to fight for your country and all that. But yeah, I love the action in this film as well. I think the action, surprisingly, if you watch the action, like, it's actually quite violent. There's quite a lot of blood. Like, there's a dude gets chopped up in some propellers, and Captain America is like shooting people. He's like, later on he doesn't do that much. He just fights people with his shield. But in this, he's like actually, popping a cap in some people. And so I think he's kind of cool, and like the hand-to-hand fight scenes are pretty cool. When he kicks people and punches people, they go flying, and that's great. It's a good movie. It's a good action movie, and yeah, it's got that sort of Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. It's got that sort of energy to it. But that doesn't mean it's bad. That just means you're more nihilistic. You know, you want to watch The Crow. You know, you want to watch more sort of dystopian things like Mad Max or whatever. You know, that's what you're into. I can watch both. I'm happy to watch both, and I get what they were trying to do with this film. I will just say though, the films get better. Like Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. We will get to that later. I've got to get through all this shit first. I've got to get through like several movies before we get there. But those films are better. But like, you know, this film sets up that he is, he is like for his country, and he's very patriotic. Like, this is a very patriotic character. And then the second movie and the third movie, he starts to doubt his whole kind of belief in his country, this country that he loved. And it's like, that's the whole point. So yeah, Tommy Lee Jones is in it as well, being a grumpy man. He's fine. Haley Atwell, ho ho ho. Do love me some Haley Atwell. You know, Stanley Tucci's good in it. He's in it for a bit. Is it Hugo Weaving who plays the Red Skull? He's good. He's good. He's a good villain. He's a proper mustache twirling villain. I was like, ha ha, Captain America. Ha ha ha. You know, it's good. I like it. I like this film. It's great, and I don't know what else I can really say about this film. I like it. I think it's cool. It's got some good action, good spectacle, and again, it sets up for the future. And I like the Marvel movies that are sort of separated more from other movies, if you know what I mean. Like, this film is in World War II, Guardians is in space, the new Fantastic Four movie is in a completely different alternate world, you know, set in an alternate 1960s. And I prefer the Marvel movies that are separated. You know, Thor Ragnarok, mostly, you know, there's a little bit on Earth, but it goes to space, and he's on a different planet, and he's in Asgard and stuff. But point is, it's separate. So yeah, I like this film. I think it's cool. I think it sets up, again, everything, builds up that character. And this is like the last film in the kind of like the setup phase for the Avengers, which I will talk about in the next video. So yeah, watch that video, please. Watch all my previous videos. If you're just joining us here, I think it's going well. Is it going well? Are we doing all right? I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want to do this anymore. You know? Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, the Avengers. Next one. Keep this show going. You know, let's keep this. Yeah. Oh my God. It's exhausting talking about all these movies, and I'm literally just like raw dogging it. I'm going through every single one of them in a day. Oh my God. Okay, right. I'm gonna stop this now. All right. Bye. Cheers. Thanks for watching.